So, at this point in the show, I'd like to welcome a member of Lincoln Skins who are going to give us a little bit more information. I've got James on the line with me. Hiya, James.
How are you? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. Are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Excellent, mate. Well, obviously, I met you a couple of weeks ago up in Geordieland, Newcastle, for the Summer in Nashville Festival, where yourself and Becky were performing as Lincoln Skins on stage, and you were the final act of the night, so you were like the big hitters. What did you make of it?
Oh, I'm going to say you'll agree with this as well, but it was a great night, weren't it? I mean, everyone was up for the party, and like everyone was line dancing, everyone was in. Just what we've found with these kind of gigs is that everyone who goes there immediately is just all in. You know, they don't really have to kind of warm up, do they? They're you play in a pub or a club or something like that, and it takes a while for people to sort of warm up and start singing along to your songs, but they're just straight in at these kind of events. So, and it was great to see everyone dressed
Yeah,
up and just.
I think you were about when I did the first half hour when I was just warming them up sort of music-wise, and right from the offset we could tell, oh, this is going to be a banger tonight.
Oh yeah, it was so good, and we went out and sort of partied afterwards as well. We met a few people there, and they took us out on the town and showed us some bars and stuff. So it was just a great night, and we can't wait to do it again. We're up in Leeds on March the 8th with the same thing. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
Great stuff. And what kind of audience was that for you? Was that like a normal gig? Was that a particularly big audience? Obviously, you mentioned doing pubs and stuff. I'm guessing that for me, that was like quite a large audience.
Yeah, I mean, we vary because we do sort of the odd pub gig, but really the pub gigs are to sort of see our local fans and sort of to keep them kind of socializing with us and just to meet up with them. But we then do the bigger clubs and the festivals, especially in the summertime, as you know, like come sort of May and June time, it's all festivals and the bigger crowds. And then in the wintertime, we tend to kind of go and do some recording, do a couple of local gigs. We even get booked for private gigs. So yeah, I mean that as it happens like that as a public gig was probably usual for us, maybe a little bit bigger. But we like the variation, we like the small intimate gigs as well as the really big ones. I mean, we played an event a couple of years ago, and I think they had like a record crowd. The event's like 15,000 people, but it still doesn't feel as intimate as when you're playing to a pub of like 100 people. So
No, of
every
course
gig is
not.
different.
Yeah. And when you say local gigs and stuff, whereabouts do you hail from in the UK?
So Rebecca's from Galston, a little seaside town in the
Yeah.
east, and I'm from Norwich, so obviously the Norfolk city. So yeah, we tend to do a few gigs around that sort of way and around Norwich, and then obviously the bigger ones we travel for, which we love. Honestly, we just love seeing different parts of the country. We've been places with Lincoln Skins that we never ever would have even existed or thought about visiting before. And the fact that we got to go out to Nashville last year was just yeah, the icing on the cake that was. I mean, it's a great experience, and we already want to go back again.
I can imagine. I'm guessing you were gigging out there as well, were you?
No, we were nominated for 5 Josie Music Awards last year, which is big
Yeah,
independent music
I noticed that
awards.
in your bio. What exactly are they? What are the Josie
So
Music Awards?
yeah, they're basically the biggest independent music awards in the world, and they have lots of different genres. And every single artist there is completely independent, so not signed to a label. And you submit your songs. They have a big judging panel, and then they whittle it down to the nominees. And we got the chance to go to the Grand Ole Opry last year, where the awards ceremony was. It was just a great experience. I mean, they had something like nearly 80,000 submissions last year, and they only picked I think 2,000 nominated songs from everybody. So just to get nominated was just brilliant and just be part of that whole thing. I mean, we just spent 4 or 5 days in Nashville partying. I couldn't believe it. Like you walk down the street at 9 o'clock in the morning, there's bands playing, and all the bars are open. It's crazy. It's like Vegas for cowboys, really.
Yeah, it sounds an exciting place to visit. And I noticed when you saying that you were from Norwich and stuff that you've done a lot of your recordings there, a place called Dub Studios. That's where you recorded this latest single.
Yeah, so yeah, Dub Cavern Studios, which is a nice, really cozy studio actually above a pub in the top floor. And Mikey, the sound engineer there, he's brilliant. I mean, he plays in a band as well. And we kind of did a bit of research before we chose a studio, and we wanted to keep it local. And his style of recording was we thought that could capture our sound because, as I was just saying to you, with two of you, it's very difficult to kind of produce something that keeps your original sound, but you want it to be produced enough that it's full enough for radio, and that people who don't generally listen to you will like the song just because it's a good song. And he's captured our sound perfectly. So we've been back. That's our third time with him, and we'll stick with him now. I mean, he just knows our sound now, knows our setup, and it's just great to record there. He's really, really good.
And this latest single is called "No Place Like Home," which pretty much, I guess, speaks for itself. But it says there's like a bit of a heartfelt message behind it. So talk me a little bit through some of the lyrics and what it means to you, the track.
Every song we write has a real story to it, or a real emotion, or a real memory, and I think that's what we always try and do. That songs shouldn't be hard work, and this one particularly was written about one of Rebecca's experiences, who had a friend who decided just to up and leave everything because she thought that it was the answer by running away from her problems she had at home, and literally just copy and pasted her life in a new location. So her problems are still there. She's still the same thing, the same old routine. Just doing the same thing but just in a different location. And that was the message, that there is no place like home. At least at home you've got people around you who care about you, and if you run away, you're just taking your problems with you, and you're probably going to be facing them alone. So it was the whole thing of no matter what happens, your home is the place that you feel most comfortable, and that's where you've got the people who love you around you.
Yeah, that's great. And is it something that you're including? Do you play a lot of your own original stuff in your shows as well, or does it tend to be covers?
No, we're pretty much all original. So we throw the odd cover song in, but we're at that great place now where people who come to our gigs come because of our songs and not because of the covers. So obviously it's difficult when you first start out, that you have to get your name out there and you have to get yourselves recognised as an original band. But yeah, we throw the odd cover in, the really well-known ones, but depending on where we are, we can literally just do a whole show of original music, which is great, because that's what being a musician is about for me, is expressing your music and getting it out there.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned about your fans following you around and stuff. Any new fans who are sort of listening to the show, where can they find you sort of online, and where can they hear your tracks?
Yes, they're on all the usual Spotify and iTunes and Amazon, all the sort of download platforms, and on Facebook. If you just search for Lincoln Skins, we've got a friend page, like a personal one, and an artist page as well, and on Instagram. So we're not hip and trendy enough for all the rest of them. I think we have got a TikTok, but I stay well out of that. Rebecca's in control of that. So yeah, I just tend to run the Facebook and Instagram. But if people just Google, they can find us. We've also got a website as well, which is lincolnskins.co.uk, and all the links to our songs and stuff are on there as well.
Great stuff. So I'm obviously going to be seeing you at quite a lot of the summer in Nashville things during the summer.
Yes.
Anything else you're particularly looking forward to this year that you've got coming up?
Yeah, we're back at a couple of other festivals that we've been to before, but we're not even allowed to announce those yet because they haven't announced the lineups yet. So it's like you have to keep it stum for a while. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the summer tour is going to be great. I'm guessing you're really looking forward to it. It's like 14 weeks of a festival every single week, isn't it? So it's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
let's pray for good weather, though, right?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Right. Well, it's been great to have you on the show today. I hope everybody enjoys the single. We're going to play that now to get everybody to have a listen to what your No Place Like Home new release sounds like. And thanks a lot for joining us on the show today, mate. And I look forward to seeing you during the rest of the year.
Yeah, really good to speak to you, buddy. And I'll see you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.